Does BOAT, B-O-A-T, really stand for Bring On Another Thousand? Stay put to find out the true cost of boat ownership. Hi, I'm Sean from Lents Cove Lessons in Boating. You're watching this video because you are considering purchasing a boat for you and your family, and you want to make sure you understand all the true costs of boat ownership before you plunge in. By the end of this video, you will understand all the variables to consider through the initial purchase price, the years of maintenance and costs, through to the eventual sale or trade of your boat. Stick around to the end of this video where I'm going to give you actual real-life examples of our customers' boat ownership experience and those costs, and also give you 3 tips on how to minimize that cost. In this video, we're going to cover the boat ownership equation, the initial purchase of the boat, fixed costs of boat ownership, variable costs of boat ownership, and the sale or trade of boat when done. So we define the cost of boat ownership as the initial purchase price plus annual maintenance, insurance, fuel, regular repairs, minus the amount that it's worth when you sell or trade it. That total equals the entire cost of boat ownership, and then we often divide it over the number of years you own it to get a true sense of your annual cost of boat ownership. The amount that it costs to purchase a boat varies dramatically, and this is one of the big wildcards in the cost of boat ownership. You could start out with buying a very inexpensive boat for $5,000, or your cost of boat ownership may be based on an initial purchase of $200,000. So this amount, we're going to give you some examples later in the video of some various amounts of initial purchase prices and how those equate to a cost of boat ownership. But this amount is going to be very dramatically different from boat to boat. So every year that you own a boat, you're going to have some fixed costs, and they're not really going to change year to year. They are going to be insurance, which we recommend. It's going to be the cost of regular maintenance, which is at a minimum winterizing your boat in our cold climate, and some basic routine maintenance to keep your boat operating properly. The variable costs of boat ownership really depend on how you use your boat and where you use it. They may include things like storage if you don't have a place to put it in the winter, dockage if you want to keep it at a marina, any launch ramp fees depending on how many times you put it in and out, your fuel of course, because the more time you use it, the more fuel you're going to put through it, and repairs that may come up over time depending on the number of hours you put on your boat. One of the best things, and maybe sometimes the best kept secret about boating, is that they hold their value extremely well. So we have seen extremes in this where people buy a boat for $100,000 and 10 years is only worth 25 or 30. That is a very odd situation, and it's usually a depressed market for a certain type of boat. The vast majority of them, whether they're pontoon boats, bow riders, cruisers, center consoles, or inboard towboat wake surf boats, hold their value to a level that sometimes is shocking. We have actually had instances where people have sold their boat in 3 years for almost exactly what they paid for it. So there are some variables there: economy, foreign exchange, and how popular a boat type is. But by and large, you can often recover 90, 80, 70% of the boat cost depending on how many years you hold it. We have a blog that kind of outlines this, and we'll put a link in the description below this video. Boat ownership is not cheap. It is, however, a great investment in time with your family and friends for bonding, relaxing, and really enjoying the fruits of your labor and making quality of life better. As you can see in this quick example here on the screen, the cost of boat ownership would equate to this initial purchase price, 3 years of fixed costs, 3 years of variable costs, and then the price that the customer sold it for at the end of the 3 years. We take that total amount and divide it over 3 years, and that equals your cost of boat ownership annually for this boat. And this is a real life example of one of our customers. As promised, in addition to that quick example that you just saw on your screen, check out the description below for a free downloadable case study with a number of examples of actual customers and their boat ownership experience and how much it cost them. And here are those 3 tips to minimize your cost of boat ownership that I talked about earlier in the video. Number 1, buy your boat in the fall or early winter. That is absolutely the least expensive time to buy and gives you the most negotiation power. Make sure though that you put a condition of spring lake test on it so you get out in the water and make sure it's right for you. Number 2, every year but just before your insurance renewal, make sure you shop around to 2 or 3 other providers and use those quotes as negotiation tools with your current provider. Number 3, make sure you keep all your maintenance records from every year and the manual pack you got when your boat was new, and use those as leverage to show the potential new owner that you've done your part and to bump up your trade or resale value. Now that you have a better understanding of the true cost of boat ownership, it's time for you to look at the different types of boats and try to decide what's best for you and your family's wants. Click on this link for a video of the different types of boats and some of those options so you can consider them, or there's a link in the description below so you can see all the different categories and how they stack up against each other. Thank you for joining us on Lens Cove Lessons in Boating for today's video. Remember to like this video and subscribe for more. Be safe, have fun, and we'll see you out on the water.